on appeal. It's on appeal. He's got a plan. He's going to appeal, and then he'll win because
he didn't even
because
testify.
why? What's the basis of an appeal? You didn't present any defense, right? You got overruled like 4 times in your closing arguments from the judge. What exactly are you going to use as a basis for an appeal? But good luck with that.
Also, we're going to do a January 6th recap, Dom. Josh Hawley, my takeaway from last night was what a wuss this guy is.
Yes.
The ever-courageous, fist-pumping, you go get him, you insurrectionist, treasonous bastards. Well, that was Josh Hawley, Senator. Well, he was doing that behind the protective lines, encouraging the crowd. And there was testimony last night that they were encouraged. They were fired up by Josh Hawley's, tangible display.
Yeah, man on the inside. They're on our side. These are our people. Well, that's what they thought until the mob goes crazy and mob rules. All of a sudden, you're running away like a wuss.
Well, Dom, what they say, revenge is a dish best served cold.
Indeed.
I did not see the crap sandwich that they were going to hand Josh Hawley last night on the national television. I didn't see that one coming. I wonder if Hawley saw it coming because he was running like a bitch, Dom.
Running to the hills. Yes, great point. What's his name? Michael Fanone, the officer, one of the officers who testified, who was tased to the point of a heart attack, damn near died. He had something to say about it. Found this one on the Twitter feeds. It's reported also at NBC News. Before we get to that sound, though, it's pretty funny. Like you gotta love the memes, right? You gotta love the fact that although these are very difficult times, we can at least find some solace in some twisted humor, right? Let's hear a little bit.
In Josh Hawley's wussery, certainly we can.
Yes.
He was, and go ahead,
yes.
You go.
NBC News. It touched off a flood of memes on social media, including a tweet by former Democratic Senator Al Franken showing Hawley running back and forth to the theme song of the Benny Hill Show. One of my favorites. The Lincoln Project, meanwhile, used the theme song from the running movie Chariots of Fire and Eye of the Tiger from Rocky III. In classic Twitter fashion, several people soundtracked the clip using Curb Your Enthusiasm. It led to outright mockery with Rep. Adam Kinzinger. Of course, he was very prominent in the testimony yesterday in running this J6 committee. Referred to Hawley as Fist Pump McRun Pants. And DNC Chair Jamie Harrison tweeted out footage of Tom Hanks running from the movie Forrest Gump. Where is Josh Hawley this morning? Hashtag still running. But on the serious side of it, the remarks from Michael Fanone. We have that cut. Let's play cut number 2, please, Evan.
Well, to be completely honest, to give you my, the first thoughts that popped into my mind was Josh Hawley is a and he ran like and the fist pump combined with what he did in the immediate aftermath just shows the true character or lack thereof.
There are reports that saying when they showed the video inside the hearing, people started kind of giggling, laughing.
Oh yeah, there was an eruption of laughter. Obviously I see the amusement of it, and I'm not going to fault people for finding it humorous, but that pisses me off. That guy's a clown. And you see the way that these guys perform in public, and then what they are in reality. You get a lot of that nonsense up here on Capitol Hill with these members of Congress that have become like a caricature in the media, but in reality, they have no character. They have no honor. They have no integrity. And the way they behave outside of the camera's eye is very different.
And I think that is, and I agree with Michael Fanone there, the lack of character. It is. They are clowns. It is an embarrassment. And while we can certainly find some of the humor and of course the hypocrisy and all those things, a man with no honor and no character, no integrity, to rile up the crowd and then run away like a bitch when they come for you. I thought it was a great observation by a man who was obviously very impacted by this insurrection.
Dominic, he has been merchandising. Him with the fist, merchandising. Now I wonder if they'd, featured the Running Man at the Josh Hawley merch store, right? You've done the Running Man, haven't you, Dom? The dance, the Running Man.
The Schwarzenegger one.
Hawley, Josh Hawley.
According to the NBC, real quick, who was being interviewed on Fox News on an unrelated topic during the hearing, responded to all the criticism Friday morning. This is how Hawley responded, tweeting out a link to his campaign merch, coffee mug featuring a photo of the fist pump that says, "Show me strong." So, the gaslighting, it continues. They have not pulled back. They are still on the big lie. They are still on the gaslighting and the trolling. This is what the Republican Party with the megas now have to offer. And that is all they have to offer.
Is that all you have to offer, man? Because I'm trying to step on you. Folks, you're listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. We're both so anxious to crap and cast shade upon Josh Hawley. He wants to run for president. He desperately wants to run for president.
Is that what he was doing when he was running away from the mob?
Well, let me tell you how he was described by the former RNC chair. A little bit of coverage from the Raw story, Dom. During an appearance on MSNBC on Friday morning, former Republican National Committee head Michael Steele claimed that Senator Josh Hawley was the recipient of a political emasculation. The beans and the Franks. A little bit more courtesy of the House January 6th committee investigating the Capitol insurrection. Speaking with host Katie Tourer, Steele smirked while noting the never-seen-before video clip that showed the conversation the conservative lawmaker fleeing the building at a very fast-paced, not too long after he expressed his solidarity with the insurrectionists as they massed outside the Congress. Katie, I'm going to quote Michael Steele. I don't often do that, but today I'm going to. Katie, that was just absolute political gold last night, Steele claimed. It was a complete and utter political emasculation. And if Twitter is any gauge, how you create a meme, that is it right here. You are a meme, Josh Hawley. You're not a man, you're a meme. A little bit more from Michael Steele. It really spoke volumes about the duplicitous nature of all of this. The kind of, I'm with you, we're standing together. And then the moment all these folks say, oh yeah, we're coming, they're out the door. They are not there. It really is an image of the of the fist and then the scurrying away. That is so much what the Republican Party is about. False bravado, fake courage, man. I think I'd run in there even if I didn't have a weapon.
Exactly. And to continually call them out, to observe it and highlight it and call them out on it is what you need to do. And emasculating, I mean, if Josh Hawley's not a masculine man to begin with, so that wasn't too hard to do. But I just hope somebody out there, if you're going to get into this game, the meme game, and Hawley's response was to tweet out a link to his campaign with the fist bump merch. Well, perhaps their opponents or someone who doesn't really like Hawley much should, get some merch with the running guy on there as a picture as he's running through on the coffee mugs. I can't wait to see those on the fake Hawley websites.
Sort of a Forrest Gump, run, Josh, run, something like that.
Terrible.
Real quick, Dominic, before we wrap up here for the first segment today, Republican U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, you remember him. Apparently, he's not been watching the January 6th. He accuses this hearing, this select committee, of engaging in a highly partisan exercise. It's really not getting to the truth of the matter, he claims. Well, truth of Josh Hawley being a bitch, that part was exposed. A little bit more. They're not asking from my standpoint, the most important question. Why was the breach allowed to occur? Why were all the warnings? Why did they all go unheeded? Where was the security? What did Nancy Pelosi know? Yeah. What did Chuck Schumer know? Why didn't they provide proper security when they knew there were going to be thousands, tens of thousands of people protesting and come to the Capitol? Encouraged by your president and Josh Hawley, and even you, sir. More devils. It's Friday, thank God.
Right to jail, right away. to you. Happy birthday to you.
Birthday parties.
Happy birthday, dear Grandpa. Happy birthday to you.
Getting back to the moments we miss starts with getting informed.
No, don't tell him, Grandpa. That won't come true.
Get the latest info about COVID-19 vaccines at getvaccineanswers.org. It's up to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
President Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election.
Collectively, Republicans got 1.661 million votes, 51,000 more votes than Trump got.
He exhausted his cases. He exhausted the court challenges.
All the Republicans voted for Trump the way they voted for the assembly candidates, he would have won.
It was not rigged. It was not stolen. Donald Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election. It's really clear.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org.
Warning, listening to the Devil's Advocates may expose you to opposing views.
It's scary. Maybe I am coming a little bit more left, but...
Well, it's not left. It's good governance, Dave.
It's good to be exposed to different ideas, and I do appreciate that you do put that out there on the airways, because a lot of times where you just get a little soundbite of this or a little bit of that, and that's the end of it. You're to be commended for that.
Dave, I'm glad you finally come around to commending the greatest radio show ever, man.
Follow the Devil's Advocates on Facebook and Twitter.
I wonder who that is, honey.
Hugs with family.
Grandma and Grandpa's here.
Get over here.
Getting back to the moments we miss starts with getting informed.
I miss you so much, Grandpa.
Get the latest info about COVID-19 vaccines at getvaccineanswers.org. It's up to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Yesterday. Save the $2 on tomorrow's paper. Listen to the Devil's Advocates today.
Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. It's 420. Light them if you got them and give us a call. 844-967-2789.
Tom, we've got sound, and we've got the ability to take your Friday grievances on the phones at 844-967-2789. A couple of thoughts real quick. We're getting tweeted at Devil Radio. Jake tweets, well, first Patrick Marley, now with the Washington Post, sharing a little Rojo love from the Journal-Sentinel. A day after the January 6th committee showed members of Mike Pence's security team were scared for their lives, Senator Ron Johnson says the committee isn't focused on the most pressing question. You know, what Nancy Pelosi know and when she know it. Jake at Madtown, Jake Edwards tweets, who was in charge of Homeland Security Committee at the time, and for the 2 weeks after January 6th at Senator Ron Johnson. So what did Rojo know about the plot at the time? Hashtag testify. Absolutely pathetic stuff from him all around. And then he tags a few people, including us at Devil Radio. We appreciate when you tag us. Yeah, excellent question. What did Rojo know? And when did he know it? And why is he taking this suddenly? You know, he's always been sort of a minimalist and apologist for the January 6th. You know, they were tourists and there's a warm, happy crowd. They were just out kicking tires and having a good time. And you know, they found themselves walking between the velvet ropes, always inside the lines. Nobody outside the lines.
I mean,
I saw.
It's just the worst kind of gaslighting ever. Don't believe your lying eyes.
Well, that's what he would have us believe. And now he's wondering, why didn't the Democrats do more to prevent the insurrection that was directly plotted and incited by the former president?
Plotted, yes, planned, plotted, executed. I mean, and allowed to foment. And he tried to let them roll for 3 hours. And so there's no explanation from Senator Johnson as to why he went from, well, the crowd is mostly happy and lucky go, to, well, this is terrible, and why did Nancy fail our country? And, of course, we do know some efforts that were made from Trump's team. Christopher Miller, you know, again, bring up the appointed person over at the Pentagon. by Trump after he lost the election, right? His memo went out. National Guard, you got to stand down. They had rules of engagement for Trump supporters. So they knew something was going to happen, obviously. And as the testimony and everything is rolled out, we've seen some of the grisly details of it all. But for Republicans and for people like Senator Johnson to wonder why are we having this partisan committee? These are all Republicans. The testimony under oath are from Republican appointees and hires, and these are the guys and gals that Trump wanted around him. These are not partisan political enemies. These are the Republicans. These are what, the Republican Party used to be. They stand up for law and order. They tell the truth. They respect the peaceful transfer of power and appreciate the efforts and what it takes for a democracy to function. Those Republicans are the ones Senator Johnson, are those fellow Republicans of yours the ones that are being partisan? Or is it the few Democrats on there that are allowing them to make their statements?
Well, Dominic, think of how disingenuous this whole thing is.
Of course.
From Johnson's, perhaps, perspective. Because, of course, why didn't Schumer and Nancy Pelosi prevent this? I mean, Donald Trump, specifically, the whole hearing last night was about the inaction of the former president. I mean, he was all down for the hanging of the Mike Pence. He tweeted, he failed us during the insurrection. He was called by multiple Congress people. Hell, Fox News stars like Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham, everybody said the president must act. So if you're going to throw shade at Nancy Pelosi, what about your guy? Because you're married to him now. And Ron, last night they played the videotape. Trump wasn't ready to throw him over after the violence. He was abrasive. Let's just play some of the supercut. I think we got some sound here. If there's time, let's start playing. Cut number 1, Donald Trump from the J6 hearing.
Addressing the heinous attack yesterday.
This is his
to those who
January
broke the
7th
law,
speech.
You will pay. You do not represent our movement. You do not represent our country. And if you broke the law, you can't say that. I'm not going to. I already said you will pay. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defied the seat of justice. It's defiled, right? See, I can't see it very well.
No,
okay,
no.
I'll do this. I'm going to do this. Let's go. But this election is now over. Congress has certified the results. I don't want to say the election's over. I just want to say Congress has certified the results without saying the election's over.
Still calling into Wisconsin trying to get them to decertify the results.
Yeah, right. Now Congress. I didn't say over, so let me see. Go to the paragraph before. Okay? I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack yesterday. Yesterday is a hard word for me.
Just take that. The heinous attack.
Good. Take the word yesterday, because it doesn't work with the heinous attack on our country. Say on our country. Want to say that?
No.
My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote. My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote.
I mean, this is how they used to cut The Apprentice, right? They'd let him go in there and take several takes, and then they just take little snippets and, try to clean it up, make it broadcast worthy. But we got to see the raw tapes, and he struggles with yesterday.
He seems under the influence of something. His speech was not normal. It was that he gets that somewhere, the thick mouth, the thick tongue kind of thing going on. We've seen him do this before. That sounds like what was affecting him again during these cuts. But whatever, we know. I mean, he's been accused of being some sort of drug addict. I don't know, but that was not normal. None of this is normal. But if it's up to the megas and up to the GOP, this is now the new normal. Hopefully, justice is listening.
I'll hammer Donald Trump on a lot of points, but enunciation will not be one of them. Not from my perspective. I struggle with the words and the talking and the such. Come back. More Devils.
Yesterday's a hard word for me.
I know what's wrong. Just want to hear you say it.
Yes.
Hear history as it happens, only on Devil Radio 92.7 FM.
The Summer of Love 2.0 Boosted Boogaloo continues with another summer rager at Hawk's Bar and Grill on State Street. Hawk's original neighborhood bar is now celebrating 20 years in business. Tuesday, August 2nd, join the Devil's Advocates for a live broadcast and party to follow at Hawk's 425 State Street. Feel the love, meet the guest, and party with the Devil's Advocates and all the friends of the Devils. Boosted Boogaloo Summer of Love 2.0 party at Hawk's Tuesday, August 2nd. Be there. The greatest radio show ever could be your greatest advertising investment ever. Partner with the Devil's Advocates and activate our loyal, educated, and engaged audience today. In-show interviews and sponsored special events considered across Wisconsin. Affordable digital and terrestrial ads available in Chicago and Minneapolis and directly on the Devil Radio app. Make a deal with the Devils and get the Devil's Advocates bump to your bottom line. Call or text 844-967-2789 today.
For Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, I'm Luke Mathers with your headlines. Devil Radio 92.7 FM will have live gavel-to-gavel coverage of the U.S. House Select Committee on January 6th public hearing this evening beginning at 7 p.m. This week, reports surfaced that former President Donald Trump is continuing his pressure campaign to have Republican state lawmakers attempt to decertify Wisconsin's 2020 election results. After the Wisconsin Supreme Court's ruling earlier this month that absentee ballot drop boxes are not outlined in state law and therefore cannot be used in future elections, Trump is threatening to support Assembly Speaker Robin Voss's primary opponent next month unless he acts to overturn the 2020 election results. On Tuesday, the Madison City Council unanimously approved a plan proposed by a Madison nonprofit to construct a $70 million development in a vacant east side lot to provide a low-cost housing option off of East Washington Avenue. You're listening to Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM.
The Devil's Advocates. Sausage making never looked so good.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. The headlines yesterday's, but this show, we're doing it live, I swear to God. Dominic, after the January 6th hearing last night, I watched Stephen Colbert. He did it live last night. Had Chris Hayes on from MSNBC. But there was another guy staying up late last night, and, I can't tweet out like he used to, so he had to go to the Truthy socials. But Donald Trump had a lot to say, and he had some vengeance to take last night on a disloyal sleazebag like Mitch McConnell. his takeaway is Mitch McConnell is a disloyal sleazebag. Anyways, we'll get.
I'm not saying that Trump and sometimes, a broken clock is right twice a day, right?
It is. 844-967-2789. A little bit of the coverage here. Former President Donald Trump went on a massive tirade late Thursday night. Massive. It was huge, after the House Select Committee on the January 6th riot concluded their latest public hearing. The end of season 1, if you will, I'm looking forward to season 2.
In September.
Got to say goodbye for the summer, but they'll be back in the fall.
It's going to drop quick, man. More information has come to light, man.
Trump ended his night by trashing Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell as a disloyal sleazebag after the committee displayed irrefutable evidence that the former president did nothing for 3 hours while watching on TV. As rioters stormed the Capitol building, Trump appeared to be trying to place blame everywhere but on his own lap, and included House Speaker Nancy Pelosi in his Truth Social meltdown. Well, at least we know where Ron Johnson sourced his newest attacks on Nancy. Right. Before writing, "Is this the same Mitch McConnell who was losing big in Kentucky and came to the White House to beg me for an endorsement and help? Without me, he would have lost in a landslide, a disloyal sleazebag. I had an election rigged and stolen from me, and our country, the USA, is going to hell. Am I supposed to be happy?"
Still out there, man. Still saying it. Still fomenting the coup, man. I mean, this part of the coup. If you talk about the 7 spokes of the wheel or all the different strategies, well, this was one of them. The lie. And he's still doing it. He's still engaging in a coup upon this country as we speak.
Dom, there are Trump allies in the state of Wisconsin today. The Republican leader of the Assembly Committee hearing or City Assembly Committee on Elections is calling for the decertification of the last election, because Donald Trump wants it a little bit more. Trump last night on the Truthy Social, before he went talking about America going to hell in a handbasket, he said this: "1. But crooked Hillary Clinton, Stacey Abrams, and many others contested their elections and for far longer than I." Really? You've been going on 2 years or longer. 2, how do they know I watched on TV? Maybe they called the cable company. 3, I never said that to Kevin McCarthy, who came to Mar-a-Lago to say hi. Very early on, the unselects don't say this. So many lies and misrepresentations by the corrupted, highly partisan Unselect Committee. Liz Cheney is a sanctimonious loser. Just sort of randomly throws that out there. Guess it kind of, takes one to know one, Trump. A little bit more. The great state of Wyoming is wise to her. Why not show the tapes or interview those that with evidence challenge the election? And then, it's Nancy Pelosi's fault. She turned on the troops. Perhaps she was disengaged. Maybe looking for her husband.
I mean,
well, yeah, Trump's never been accused of looking for his spouse.
Unbelievable, man. I mean, they're like third graders.
Well, a little bit more, Dom. Fox News wasn't covering the event, right? They did not have live primetime coverage.
Yeah, we talked about it.
No coverage.
No, so none. That's Trump BS, Crudy. That's BS.
Well, you know what they did have on? They had Josh Hawley on while they were, kind of casting a little shade at Josh Hawley and his wussy ass for running away from the insurrectionists. He was appearing live on Fox News, their commentary nightly lineup.
Well, and you can't just, if you're going to, rip on Hawley, certainly Fox News is justified too. I mean, look at all those Fox stars that were screaming and texting and trying to get Trump to do something and how this is all unacceptable behind the scenes, right? But
I don't think
when
Laura
the camera
Ingraham
turns on,
or
Hannity, it's all Trump.
I don't think any of them acknowledged that last night during the primetime lineup.
Weird, huh? Funny how that works.
But the interesting part, the ironic part, Trump was forced to watch coverage over on CNN. And how do we know
Fox didn't cover it?
Because Fox didn't cover it, and because he went Truthy Socialin at CNN last night. A little bit more. Trump also appears to have been watching CNN's coverage because he lashed out at host Jake Tapper, writing, "Big Tapper, of CNN is so biased and pathetic. No wonder CNN's ratings are at an all-time low. P.S. Almost all Trump-endorsed candidates have won or are winning. He just had to throw that in there for good measure.
Yep.
Eat at Joe's. Best salad bar on the island. 844-967-2789. So you see where his head's at.
Well, we know where his head's at. I mean, this is now where the party is at. They're a bunch of third graders, pulling pigtails on the playground. I mean, this is an embarrassment. It's a freaking joke.
Pigtails? They got bear spray. They'll bear spray your ass, and then they'll beat the cops with their own.
It is
billy clubs.
The petulant lying and complaining about the circumstances of the last election. I mean, he is the leader of the MAGA. He is the leader of the GOP, and this is how he communicates. This is how he talks. So we should not be surprised whatsoever when we start seeing rank and file guys like Josh Hawley raising a fist and then, of course, running away when it gets a little too hot in the kitchen, right?
I see this as sort of the sucker punch party. Republicans. They never would look you in the eye and have a fair fight. But if I was talking to you and looking away, would I get a rabbit punch? Would I get, sucker punched by a Josh Hawley? Oh, yeah, I think so. I think that's about the sort of character they have.
It's even worse than that. They'll lie to some poor schmuck to come out and have them punch you, and then they'll try to deny that they had anything to do with it.
Run away together.
Uh-huh.
Just pump a fist. Hey, punch that guy. I got to go. My car's running out back. I got to go.
It's these committees and this conversation and the evidence again and the testimony by true red Republicans, true believers, Republicans, and proud Republicans, at least they used to be.
Have we seen a single Democrat testimony-wise at the January 6th committee? I don't recall a single Democrat that was played on the video because there were no Democrats serving in the Trump administration, right? All the witnesses were the Trump sycophants. Let's get to the phones. 844-967-2789. Grievances aired here daily, but mostly on Fridays. Dick from Madison. Welcome. What do you got for us?
Hey, Dick.
Well, that Mark Meadows thing I told you to look for, he must feel really good today after Josh Hawley last night. Kind of takes the heat off
Right.
looking at that. But another thing, Johnson, you forgot another thing he described that day. They were jovial. And then one real quick thing with Hawley, I think he has a future, not in politics, in track. I think he could have beat Carl Lewis, Bob Hayes, or Jesse Owens in their time.
I don't know, man. I've seen on some social media postings on Twitter specifically, sbnation.com. Don't know, just see the screen. Josh Hawley ran a 7.2 in the 40 at the January 6th Combine. So someone extrapolated the data and did the math and say Hawley's running a 7.2, and I guess it's in dress shoes perhaps, so that doesn't seem too fast. In a 40, yeah.
You'd have to get an hourglass in that case. But last but not least, do you think that maybe Bannon will get extra time being the worst dressed inmate?
I don't know how many shirts they allow you to wear up in the pokey, man, but he's going to be over the quota, I'm sure.
I hope he loses his mattress on the first night. Thank you, Dick. Dick's always an abrupt ender of conversations. When he's done, he's outie. Dom, apparently the January 6th committee is quite happy about the outcome, the convictions of Steve Bannon. Bannon convicted today on 2 charges of contempt of Congress. Of course, he was ignoring the subpoenas of the J6 committee. Here is what the select committee posted on the Twitter where Trump's not allowed. The conviction of Steve Bannon is a victory for the rule of law and an important affirmation of the Select Committee's work. As a prosecutor stated, Steve Bannon chose allegiance to Donald Trump over compliance with the law, just as there must be accountability for all those responsible for the events of J6. Anyone who obstructs our investigation into these matters should face consequences. And then shrug emoji. No, I'm kidding. No shrug emoji. No one is above the law. The committee tweeted. Bannon had brazenly predicted he would vigorously fight the charges, but did not testify or call a single witness in his defense. This didn't seem like the misdemeanor from hell, Mr. Bannon. A reporter shouted outside the courthouse. What happened?
We have a little sound from the convicted Steve Bannon from the trial, or after the trial, I would assume here. Evan, let's do cut number 4. Steve Bannon on the gutless committee. Apparently wanted them to show up.
I only have one disappointment, and that is the gutless members of that show trial committee. The J6 committee didn't have the guts to come down here and testify in open court.
You didn't have the guts to testify in open court. In your own defense. Why would they come down here to sully their lives with your conviction?
Yeah,
they didn't need to.
And talk about a show trial. Again, the gaslight. It's just, it's bizarro world. One more from Bannon, cut 5.
I stand with Trump and the Constitution, and I will never back off that, ever.
You can stand with Trump or you can stand with the Constitution, but you really can't do both, Steve.
You cannot do both. Both of those things cannot exist at the same time. It's like matter and antimatter, but that's science. Don't worry your pretty little self about it, Steve Bannon.
844-967-2789. No one's ever called him pretty. Mark from the Sack, welcome back. What do you got?
Hey, Mark.
Oh, good Lord. I mean, Steve Bannon, he should actually read the Constitution and read the American Constitution preamble, not the preamble to the Confederate Constitution or the Articles of Confederation. Currently, it's the U.S. Constitution.
Well, I think Steve Bannon, Mark, and I know you're a smart guy, and I think Steve Bannon is an incredibly smart guy. I think he's very adroit. I think he's very well read. I think he's far more strategic than most of the Trumpsters. And I think ultimately Bannon thinks somehow he's got the power through a podcast to start the next revolution. I mean, nobody walks out of court after double conviction, seeming that, I'm going to give him hell. Well, of course, you're not going to give him hell. You're going to give him your fingerprints, and then you're going to get booked.
And he's going to go to jail, and he should be going directly to jail. And this crap, they can wait till October or whatever to sentence him. No, you can sentence him right away. Put his ass in jail so he can't spin this crap, continually, because the coup is ongoing. I mean, that's what occurs to me, is the coup is ongoing, and there's plenty of Wisconsin politicians participating in it. Janelle Branchin, Robin Voss, fat-ass Gableman. I mean, that they're all, trying to keep the coup going. And and enough of this stuff. Joe Biden won the election. He's our president, and Joe Biden is. They are fortunate that Joe Biden isn't acting like the tyrant that Janelle Branchin thinks he is, because otherwise, they would be in a deep dark hole someplace.
Well, I'd like to see them end up somewhere in the hole, 30 days or more. It's kind of like going to a football game when, your team's down like 9 touchdowns, and the crowd's trying to do the wave, but it keeps sputtering. It's like these are the efforts to decertify. It's like the fourth quarter wave when there's only 19,000 fans left in the stadium, and you're down 63-1. And
the game is over. They're still sitting in the stadium from a game last year trying to do the wave.
Hey, we won the Rose Bowl in 1996. Decertify the results. Come back, more Devils.
What is dedication?
I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates, the fix for political junkies everywhere.
You recall the Capitol insurrection? A post-ABC News poll showed 54% said Trump should be criminally charged for inciting the riot. That's like a litany of criminal allegations against the former president. You can say it's all partisanship and a witch hunt, but there wasn't one credible accusation against Obama during his entire 8-year term. So how Republicans just ignore all the evidence? I mean, he was perpetrating a coup on multiple levels.
Follow the Devil's Advocates on Facebook and Twitter.
Hi, folks. This is Kirk Bankstad at the Minocqua Brewing Company, and I am proud to introduce you to Choice, our new pink grapefruit-flavored hard seltzer. Choice was made in collaboration with Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin, and 5% of the proceeds from every can goes to support them and their fight for reproductive freedom. Choice Hard Seltzer tastes great and comes in at only 105 calories per can. Go to our website, MinocquaBrewingCompany.com, to find where you can buy Choice Hard Seltzer.
COVID-19 vaccines are starting to become available across the country. Now is the time to get informed. Get the latest information at getvaccineanswers.org. It's up to you. A message brought to you by the Ad Council and the CDC.
Think you know politics? Think again. Welcome to the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. It's Friday. We air the grievances. You can join us at 844-967-2789.
Dominic, I want to turn our attention to the backyard politics, the decertification efforts of the 2020 election. And they've got headlines that new Janelle Brandtjen, she heads up the Assembly Elections Commission, which has made itself quite a joke. It was already obviously a partisan body, but, you know, when you're calling for decertifications of elections 2 years gone by, you have made yourself something of a laughingstock. As the headline reads, Republican leading Wisconsin's Assembly Elections Committee calls for decertifying Trump's 2020 laws. Oh, she's a bright one. She went out there and met with, the cyber ninjas in Maricopa County once upon a time.
And do you know who sponsored and paid for that trip? Christina Bobb.
She's the OAN chick?
Yes. Funded Janelle Brandtjen's trip out to Arizona through some whatever organization, 501c3 style.
Did you see that OAN got forced off their last cable provider, Verizon?
Too bad.
They're down to like local regional cable providers, and they got a big defamation suit coming down the pike from Dominion Software.
Well, the good news is they got all the MyPillow ads. They're probably raking all sorts of money in from that.
I got a joke, but I can't tell it on the air. That one's a little bit dirty. The leader of the Assembly Elections Committee is calling for her colleagues to take the unconstitutional action of decertifying former President Donald Trump's election laws in 2020, a move that prompted her Republican counterpart in the Senate to call for her removal.
It's not an unconstitutional action. It's just, a difference of opinion as to how the Constitution reads, right?
Well, Rep. Janelle Brandtjen, a Republican from Menominee Falls who was endorsed by Trump earlier this year, said Friday she was joining Republican candidate for gubernator Tim Ramjam, that's your guy, Rantham, pushed to overturn the last presidential election because tyranny is at Wisconsin's door.
What?
If someone's knocking at the door of tyranny, it's Donald Trump. We've been told for, I quote Brandtjen in a statement, we've been told for months now that decertification is impossible, meaning there is no downside to cheating in Wisconsin elections. Other than the fact it's a crime, you would go to jail, you'd be prosecuted. It does happen. I mean, there's always some cheating, and somebody gets prosecuted and goes to jail for it. But you're talking about massive, wide-scale cheating that could only, be the figment of a Republican's imagination. But Trump said it, so it must be true. Anyways, we've been told for months now that decertification is impossible, meaning there's no downside to cheating in Wisconsin elections. How many more times do we need to endure this election injustice?
If just because your guy lost does not mean it's an election injustice.
But she's in the assembly. She's on the ballot every 2 years. She won on the same election injustice ballot that Trump lost on.
Right. Come on. I mean, that's not the point. It's the top of the ticket. I mean, of course, her election, totally fair, totally honest, no cheating, and well-deserved because the Republicans have better candidates and better ideas.
Well, Dominic, even before Trump lost the election in 2020 in Wisconsin, the former president argued, without evidence, voter fraud would be the only way he could lose re-election. And after Joe Biden defeated Trump by about 21,000 votes in Wisconsin, Trump continued to make baseless claims of voter fraud and sought to overturn the loss by throwing out hundreds of thousands of ballots in Democratic-leaning cities. Think, Milwaukee and Madison. They did a recount there. And since then, Trump has called on Assembly Speaker Robin Vos to decertify the 2020 election, an idea that legal experts and scholars, including Trump's former campaign attorney and nonpartisan lawyers who work for the state legislature, have said is impossible and unconstitutional. Who's the other guy? Marjorie Taylor Greene's lawyer, right? He was also Gableman's lawyer.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Said that this is an impossible action. We'll come back to it. Vos has rejected such calls from Trump, Ramjam, and other Wisconsin Republicans to do so. A spokeswoman did not immediately answer whether Branchin, whom he appointed, Vos appointed as chairwoman of the Assembly Elections Committee, should continue to lead the panel.
Well,
what do you think, Robin?
No, Crudy, the Republican chairwoman of the Senate's election committee, said Branchin should be removed or step down from the committee, a quote from Senator Kathy Bernier, a Republican. Absolutely not. It was a mistake that I think Robin Vos has admitted to about asking whether Branchin should continue leading the election committee. And she will not ever be the head of election committee ever again. Bernier said the continued focus on 2020 through the baseless claims hurts voter confidence needlessly. But that's kind of the point. Her quote, there is absolutely no proof that Donald Trump actually got more votes in the state of Wisconsin. So even if there were a provision legally to decertify an election, the proof has not been provided to even do it. If there was even a provision that allowed for it. There is not enough proof.
You mean more than zero proof?
More than zero. Molly Beck,
proof.
reporting at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. The entirety of Janelle Branchin's quote here, I'd like to repeat some of this. Fair and honest elections are the cornerstone of our democracy, and we know that the 2020 presidential election was neither fair nor transparent. A handful of rogue clerks, along with the Wisconsin Election Commission, decided they would subvert our election process with private money, drop boxes, illegal use of indefinitely confined provision, and elimination of special voting deputies. We will never know the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. Tyranny is at Wisconsin's door. We've been told for months now that decertification is impossible, meaning there is no downside to cheating in Wisconsin's elections. How many more times do we need to endure this election injustice? I will join Rep. Ramthan's call for decertification as I see no other means of justice for Wisconsin voters. We have been unable to stop WEC, a tyrannical agency that has created voting guidance to clerks while subverting the legislature and has no regard for existing laws. Our democracy is in jeopardy. According to the Wisconsin Assembly Chair of the Election Commission, Janelle Branchin, she is a rep from, I believe,
Menominee Falls.
Menominee Falls,
sure.
Thank you.
Bernier said it was lunacy. She, of course, is the Republican senator that heads up the Senate Elections Committee. And one more quote from the senator, now outgoing Senator Bernier, because she doesn't want to serve in anybody that would have Janelle Branchin, I'm pretty sure. I find it hypocritical at best that Donald Trump is going around endorsing all sorts of people, including Janelle Branchin, in a state where he has no confidence in the electoral process. Come back with us, the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. It's the Friday edition. We air the grievances. Yours could be next. And some more J6 recap. Bannon's convicted. Hawley's a wussy. And, your thoughts as well. Hour 2, the happier happy hour, is next.
This election was rigged This election is a total fraud.
You lied to me.
When we built the Devil Radio World Headquarters in Madison, it was filthy with construction dust, a real mess. I called Magnific Cleaning Services and they made it shine. A few days later, we moved in and created a whole new mess. Magnific Cleaning Services made it shine again. Now Magnific Cleaning Services is the only cleaners I trust with the keys to my company. They clean Devil Radio affordably and with great attention to detail. Find them online at magnificservice.com for a free estimate and tell them Devil Radio sent you.
The real estate market in Dane County and surrounding areas has been a bit of a hot mess this year. Listings are being picked off above asking prices and without the home inspection contingencies. I'm Todd Osborne, owner of Orion Inspections, and even if I weren't a home inspector, I'd still cringe a little if any of my friends or family tried to buy a home without an inspection. Let's take a good hard look at that house before you sign. Want to know more? I'm here to help. OrionInspections.com. That's Orion, like the constellation, inspections.com.
You are listening to WTTN 1580 AM Columbus, W224 EG Madison, always streaming on the Devil Radio app.
Oh, Devil Radio. Good thing I brought my horns.
Devil Radio has been kicking ass, earning every listener, and providing our sponsors return on investment 3 years now on the Madison airwaves. And there has never been a better time than right now to advertise with us and join the Devil Radio community. Our audience is loyal and growing every day. Active listeners that don't flip. Wonder if your ad dollars are working? Devil Radio listeners will tell you it works. Ad production is included. Devil Radio will make it easy for you to start seeing return on your investment. Call today. Listen to your favorite political talkers no matter where you are. 92.7 FM in Madison and Eastern Dane County, 1580 AM Columbus, north of Madison, and for daytime east-west commutes on I-94, 101 FM in the Shaw, and 540 AM covering eastern Wisconsin all day and covering the Milwaukee Metro, the Wild Counties, Racine, and Kenosha 24/7. Download the free Devil Radio app for your smartphone and take both stations with you everywhere. No excuses, just listen.
Hawks Bar & Grill is celebrating 20 years on Saturday, July 23rd. Head on down to State Street for the family-friendly party. Food and drink specials all day with activities for all ages, including a visit from Bucky Badger himself. Event runs from 2 to 6 p.m., but specials last all day. There will be face painting, balloon twisting, a magician, and so much more. Bring the family to Hawks Bar & Grill on State Street this Saturday, July 23rd for fun with the whole family, celebrating 2 decades in business with Hawks Bar & Grill.
Suck down drinks so we don't have to suck.
Okay.
Make sure you listen to Devil Radio 92.7. If you do, you go to heaven.
For Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, I'm Luke Mathers with your headlines. Devil Radio 92.7 FM will have live gavel-to-gavel coverage of the U.S. House Select Committee on January 6th public hearing this evening beginning at 7 p.m. On Wednesday, Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul filed a lawsuit in Dane County Court against 18 companies that AG Kaul alleges contaminated the environment with PFAS, also known as forever chemicals. The lawsuit contends the 18 companies knew or should have known the products manufactured with PFAS would have a dangerous impact on the environment and is seeking reimbursement for the investigations into and the cleanup efforts surrounding PFAS. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources put out a bid this week for a contractor to destroy 25,000 gallons of firefighting foam containing the chemicals. Mostly sunny skies in the forecast with winds up to 15 miles an hour and a high of 87 degrees. Clear skies in the forecast this evening with continued winds and an overnight low of 63 degrees. You're listening to Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM.
Devil Radio programming is produced live in the Solidarity Realty Studios. Find them at solidarityrealty.com. Solidarity Realty. There is an alternative.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves and corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. 3, 2, 1. Now live from the Devil Radio Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning. Welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Here is your host, Mike Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show, the Friday edition, the day after the prime time January 6th hearing. And it's the happy hour. It rolls on with your phone calls, your grievances. Welcome. 844-967-2789. Now, Dom, you and I malingered a little bit long after the Waukesha County Fair yesterday. Had a good time. Shout out to the Dems that hosted us. We had a good time. And then we had a better time, just coercing, carousing, commiserating. People's park.
We always
downtown
do it, man. We had the opportunity last night as we were departing the Waukesha County Fair to walk past the Republican Party table, which is only a few vendors up from where we were broadcasting last night, and some little old lady was sitting behind, and I kind of slowed down to shake my head at what I was witnessing. A cardboard cutout of Abraham Lincoln and another one of Trump, and I think there was one or two more.
Ronald Reagan, he was there.
Maybe, Reagan, right? And so the lady, she's sitting down, and she looks up at me and says, "Hey, you want to join?" I said, "What?" I pointed to Lincoln.
Why wouldn't you join the cult, Don?
I said, maybe that guy, Lincoln. But I pointed to the Trump cardboard cutout. I said, he tried to, have a coup in this country. He tried to overthrow the government, right? And she really didn't reply. Then I stepped up. I said, there's a hearing going on tonight. Are you going to watch it? And she said, well, I got to work. I understand that, but maybe you could record it and watch it later. And she thought maybe she had her recording set to do that, but I'm not confident she knows how to set the clock on the VHS.
Well,
So,
I'm not sure you know how to promote the fact it was live on the radio last night. She could have turned it on. She could have streamed it in real time. We played it out on 540 AM and 101 FM and Devil Radio, of course. But please continue to not promote the radio station.
so yeah, man, so I walked away from that conversation and ran into another, I don't know, what do you call him? Loyalist, let's call it. Big Ugly. And, here's a Republican guy that we've known for years and actually had some drinks with him and had some fun with him over the years.
He was a staffer. We partied with him a little bit at the Winking Lizard in Cleveland, outside the RNC. And he kept showing up at national events. Like we'd be at a Trump rally and there'd be Big Ugly on the gate. And, the fact that he's so big and ugly is just so obvious.
Right,
but,
out.
Here's something I'll note. He's so big and ugly these days. I didn't even recognize him as Big Ugly. You said, I think that's Keith, Big Ugly. And I said, no, I don't think so.
Well, we're not as young as we used to be. But after, hearing some of the Fox News headlines from Big Ugly, I started to wonder. Because I don't, but based on the conversations that we've had with guys like him and other folks like CJ, for example, and other Republicans, when you get them away from the mic and away from the thing and you bust chops and you have a real conversation, I have a hard time believing that they actually believe the stuff that they're saying to me and to Crudy about, what reality is and what they believe. I just have a really hard time believing that. So then I wonder, and I guess I'm struggling because I'm not sure it matters. Maybe it doesn't matter, but is it worse, the same, or is it better? If you're a true believer and you believe the election was stolen, you believe Donald Trump got screwed, and you believe that the deep state and the crooked media is coming and Trump really won, and this is really a coup on that side. On
so
their side.
Tim Ramtham or
Yes.
Janelle Branchin, I think somewhere deep down they believe.
They truly believe.
Believe because Trump said it's true.
Is that better, or is it worse to just be a talking head, to not truly believe it, but say it because that's what's expected, or that's what's getting you paid, or that's what you just want to present to the public, even though in your heart you do not believe it? And at the end of the day,
so that's more like Tim Michaels and Rebecca Clayfish.
Yes, I would think yes. And
please continue.
I just don't know. Does it matter? Because if the words coming out of all their mouths are the same, does the motivation matter at all? I don't know. If that's the case, if it doesn't matter, then I have a hard time trying to justify putting in the time and energy to talk to people that, you're never going to get OJ to go to Enterprise. You know what I mean? He's a Hertz guy. Right? You can't convince the Diet Coke distributor that Diet Pepsi's something better, or Miller versus Bud, right? Tastes great, less filling. Sometimes you're talking to people that cannot be swayed.
First and foremost, you draw this binary distinction between those that believe, the faithful, let's call them, the particularly sheeple sorts, the Ranthams, the Branchins, that believe the election was stolen. And then there's that other side. They're the false prophets, if you will. They'll claim it. They'll fundraise on it. But they don't believe it. And then there's the most cynical of all. Robin Voss. Because he doesn't believe it, yet he'll prop it up. He'll extend it. He'll give it legs. Give it traction. Give it an investigation. A special counselor in the persona, if it's accurate to call the man a man, a Michael Gableman. So first and foremost, Voss is the worst of all, because the worst of all. That is the most cynical of any possible outcome. And above and beyond that, you ask Big Ugly, does he believe it when he says it? So anyways, a couple of observations I made. Other than the fact Big Ugly is uglier than he's ever been. He followed us. Hey guys, he said.
Hey guys, wait up.
Hey guys, wait up. We weren't following him. Hell, man, I'm pulling a wagon full of gear. Hey guys, wait for me. I've got some, That's what puppies do. They follow you. And kids that want to hang out with the cool kids. And that's what he looked like. He looked like a guy trying to hang out with the cool kids. And then he's got to prove his macho, his moxie, because he knows we're the cool kids and we're well informed. And we're not going to allow, utter stupidity, but that's what he tried to play. He trolled. He trolled as hard as he could. You're going to fail at another radio station. You might be a big guy, but I'll take you down a peg. But that was a direct troll, right? What? Yes. You caught up to me to say, hey, man, you going to lose your ass again, Crudy? Well, that's a pretty good troll. I'll give you that one. And then January 6th, right? And he had all the company lines and all the gaslighting. But deep down, he was just trying to be one of the cool kids. But you can't be cool because you supported Donald Trump. And you're ugly. But some ugly people can be cool. But in your case, Keith, ugly to the bone, man. Ugly to the bone. Because ultimately, he's trying to be cool. He's trying to show his human side. CJ did the same. CJ came down to the bar. Showed us just a little glimmer that he's a human. He can be a human. But he opts to be an ass. Both of them. That's a chosen thing. They choose to be jerks. So, maybe they're not quite as cynical as Robin Voss, but they don't believe it. They don't believe it.
So do you judge, as a judge of character, do you consider that behavior?
Well, neither of those men have character, but go ahead.
But is that worse than the true believers? They say the same thing, but their motivations are different.
I look
Is there
at
a distinction?
I look at true believers as people that are typically faithful people. They're usually churchy kind of people. They believe the Bible. They may not practice the Bible, but they claim they believe it, and I believe they do. So if we are to believe the true Kool-Aid drinking cultist, I have a hard time existing and breathing the same air as those people. But what I would say is those that don't believe, and I would say right-wing talk radio host, a lot of them, like I think your girl Vicky believes. I think she's fully Kool-Aided down. I don't think Dan O'Donnell does. I think Dan O'Donnell knows cynically that he's selling his soul every day on the radio because that's how he gets paid and that's how he keeps his job. And it's good for ratings. And so what I believe? Truth doesn't set him free. The fiction gets him paid. So I think that's very cynical. And those that try to have it both ways, guys like Robin Voss, well, your soul will burn in hell someday, sir. My prediction. I don't know. I'll never be able to find out. I plan on being somewhere else. But Dom, look for him, okay?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Nor I. 844-967-2789. I invoked his name. I said he had no character, but he's listening, so, at least he called. CJ, man, you got like a minute and a half to defend yourself.
Go ahead, CJ. What do you got for us?
Hi, guys. Thanks again for taking my call. Again, you're one of the few that still will. But facts are facts. Remember when Adam Schiff, that Kool-Aid? John Durham's seeking 30 subpoenas on that big lie.
What? Slow down, man, because
$2.5-year Russian collusion crap.
Well, the Durham prosecution ended up with an acquittal of the former alleged Clinton lawyer that lied to the FBI. So, CJ, you took him to court and he got off, man. That's how the justice system works.
Yeah, look at who was on the jury. The guy's daughter's soccer team coach.
Are you kidding me, CJ? That's what you've got? That's the thin gruel you have to offer? Did you watch the January 6th last night, CJ? Did you see that the former president sat there for an hour, 3 hours and 7 minutes, and let the country burn?
I thought I had a minute and a half. You're just going to talk over me, Crudy?
Respond.
I watched it. It's another lead balloon. There's no smoking gun. Merrick Garland does not have a case. Blah, 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 just like Adam Schiff. That's the point. So
you don't believe that, do you, CJ?
2024, Americans
Well, I'm done because I don't think you believe CJ. I think you're telling lies, man. You want to believe, but you know better because you're not as dumb as you look.
Nihilists, man. Huh? They kept saying they believe in nothing.
To be cool, be the guy with the big kielbasa.
And family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
President Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election.
Collectively, Republicans got 1.661 million votes, 51,000 more votes than Trump got.
He exhausted his cases. He exhausted the court challenges.
All the Republicans voted for Trump the way they voted for the assembly candidates. He would have won.
It was not rigged. It was not stolen. Donald Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election. It's really clear.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org.
The Devil's Advocates.
Mitch McConnell did make a public statement, right? After he voted to acquit, nothing says the president can't be prosecuted. Set the example for your caucus.
Convince your caucus as to why the man is not fit to serve. How do you not use your leadership and say, you guys, this is crazy. We can't do this, and here is exactly why. Because now, of the two major political parties, one of them is under the thumb of a fascist insurrectionist.
Follow the Devil's Advocates on Facebook and Twitter.
Did you call that girl? Of course I did.
Catching up after work.
Guys, this round's on me.
What?
You stupid. You said that? You really said that?
I mean, you should have just seen that. Like, you should have been. Getting back to the moments we miss starts with getting informed. Get the latest info about COVID-19 vaccines at getvaccineanswers.org. It's up to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Devil's Advocates, radio for the 99%.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. If you miss any of this fine program, you can go to the website, darnwi.com, listen to podcasts and interviews, of course. The social media is the Devil's Advocates radio on Facebook, at Devil Radio on Twitter, and our phone lines, 844-967-2789.
Dominic, the only thing better than when the audience calls in on a Friday and shares their grievance is when they show up August 2nd in Hawks for a little live party, a little rager. You know, it's the Summer of Love 2.0 boosted boogaloo, and we are throwing another summer rager August 2nd on the deck. Well, you know, sort of the grotto there. They've got the sidewalk. They fence it in. And last time we broadcast right out on the sidewalk, had a hell of a good time. And if you'll recall, Dom, one of the parties, I think it was at the Jade Monkey, CJ, sort of the local big ugly, he showed up. And he showed just a little bit of humanity that night. And I actually enjoyed his company for, a few minutes. And since then, he's been the same old CJ. So if you're listening for the first time and you're thinking, man, they're kind of rough on these conservatives. Well, CJ's got a history around here. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? He's earned my disdain and disrespect because we don't talk with CJ. We talk past CJ. And CJ just spits out bullet points. He's just trolling. And I think he is a smart enough human being. I think CJ's smart. He's well informed. He listens to our radio programming all day long.
He's got
you know what I mean?
Informed.
He's well informed.
Right.
He has the headlines. He knows the news. So to feign ignorance, to pretend like none of this matters. The only thing that matters is what? Hunter Biden? The Durham investigation? I mean, how disingenuous. How am I supposed to ever like you, CJ, if you come to my radio program and you disrespect me with these known fictions and these irrelevant points? And, we can't ever talk about anything important. Because I'd talk about inflation if you ever had a solution, but you don't. You just want to blame Biden. And you just want to yell it out on the radio because people don't listen to you otherwise.
Well, apparently, people don't take his calls anywhere else. You better behave yourself, CJ.
What's wrong with us, Tom? Maybe that shows our poor character.
I know. All those years we had Ron Johnson coming on, man. Now we're dealing with that.
Well, we try to give all takers an opportunity to join us, at least for a bit. And if you're willing to have a dialogue, we'll give you longer. 844-967-2789. And if you show up at the bar, you can talk to one of the staff, right?
Come on,
Someone
man.
can talk to CJ. It won't be me.
It'll be me, man. I'm usually that guy.
Are you going to be that guy August 2nd
I
for
think
CJ?
I'll be. Where we go? Which bar is it again?
Hawks on State Street.
Hawks on State. All right.
20 years in business.
Damn, that's
location.
A long time. That's
We've
great.
been partying down there like 8 or 9 years.
Right, dude. No, listen, I'm usually the guy, and I enjoyed the banter with CJ, because here's a couple of things, and with him and other folks that want to come up and have a verbal sparring. Because generally, there's drinks around, there's a little smoke around, and when it's in person and off the radio and not FCC, and I don't have to put up with your BS when we're sitting at a bar, I'm not going to let you talk over me. I'm not going to let you change the subject. So if you then at that point, we're going to be in each other's presence, there's a rule, a way to have a conversation, and it is not to randomly spout out what you saw on FoxNews.com. We're going to have a conversation. We'll stick to it, but generally it's a little more, I don't know, colorful when we're not FCC compliant.
Oh, you're colorful, all right. I've been trying to, we got some new workers here at the office. You don't see them as much as I do, Dom, but let's just say I'm often colorful around the office. I'm thinking of CJ, and I'm occasionally profane, and I just say, hope it doesn't offend you if I talk like this.
I hope you're not offended.
844-967, or you, CJ. I hope you're not offended. Even if I intended it to offend you. Joe from Madison, welcome, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hey guys, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
CJ Love, they're trying to give you a chance. Reach your hand out and try to do right and actually honestly have a conversation. And really, honey, it's just embrace what they're giving you, which is airtime and a chance to talk, but talk with, not at. With, together, conversation.
We're
you
often
guys are
guilty, Joe, of giving conservatives more time if they're having a real dialogue with us. Because, you don't get every day. I mean, I could go out to rural Wisconsin. I could certainly find that conversation. And I do. And I like going out to rural Wisconsin. I'm going to do that all summer. The rest of the summer, the second part. But I can tell you, Joe, you got to be willing to have the conversation. I like talking with anybody if you're willing to talk and you're not just spouting bullet points you don't even believe.
Well, it seemed like one of the callers who would call often was Dave. You show him in one of your promos.
Yeah, Dave from Mequon. He's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, he'll listen. Yeah, he'll listen back and forth. And for sure, you guys don't agree on not everything or even a majority of things, but there are points of connection. And I just would encourage CJ to realize if everybody else is shutting you down and this is the last place, use it in a way that changes things. You could be in a place that changes things by starting conversations and continuing to. I know there's good cheer in there. I'm believing it. Everything may be telling me otherwise, but this Pollyanna part of me is still believing it. So come on down, start some conversations, and appreciate they are leaving a door open, and they mean it when they say that. So I wanted to ask one question, and that was to return to the piece of information that you had, which is if Mr. Johnson, our senator from Wisconsin, is so intent on trying to figure out who didn't deal with security at the Capitol. Man, I had forgotten all about the fact that Homeland Security, kind of his bailiwick.
Governmental Affairs Committee, his gag.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Perhaps you should be holding hearings on figuring out why he failed so miserably. Wouldn't that be a great thing to have hearings on? If we're going to be dumping blame, why not blame on him? Because as I understand it, it's not Pelosi's job, but Homeland Security sure might be in it.
Joe. I mean, you'd get a lot of that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, let us all have a good weekend, all of us. Take care, all.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate the call.
Happy
That's a great
weekend,
point. What
one and all.
What is his gag doing? I mean, granted, J6 is kind of taking it over, but maybe there should be some committee hearings at his gag.
He's just a subcommittee chair now. Come back, more Devils.
Supplying your political fix on the back roads from Sauk City to Beaver Dam on WTTN 1580 AM Devil Radio.
Dark Horse Art Bar is Madison's newest live music venue and art gallery on East Washington Avenue. Check out these upcoming events at the Dark Horse. Little Church is a splattering of art, pop, rock, soul, and gentle Eskimo kisses by a bear-shaped robot that can't control its voltage. Little Church with Mickey Sunshine, Sunday, July 24th. Dark Horse Art Bar and Gallery, 756 East Washington Avenue. Find them online at darkhorsemadison.com.
I'm Peter Pekarsky, a U.S. Senate candidate approving this ad paid for by Pekarsky for Wisconsin, asking what kind of world do you want to leave to your children and grandchildren? A world where Ron Johnson uses his Senate vote to change the tax code so another $79 million stays with 3 of his rich campaign contributors instead of paying for Wisconsin schools and roads? Or a world where Peter Pekarsky is a U.S. Senator working for all the people of Wisconsin? Tell us what you want at Pekarsky for Wisconsin.
From Up North News, I'm Pat Kreitlow. With right-wing extremists more emboldened than ever, it shouldn't be a surprise that more of the rights we used to take for granted are under threat of repeal. Then again, we've known that here since Scott Walker dropped the bomb that became Act 10, right? Well, at the national level, the repeal of Roe v. Wade may be followed by an effort to remove the right to access contraception. We recently had a store clerk in Hayward, for example, refuse to sell condoms to a couple, citing his religious faith. We talked to a Wisconsin OBGYN about how these attacks on privacy will impact the quality of health care that people receive. And in news that isn't quite so breaking, J.J. Watt, still a great guy. Helps out a family in Texas, even though he now plays for Arizona, when that family was in need and said so online. All this and more at upnorthnewswi.com.
The Devil's Advocates, tackling the issues you're not allowed to talk about at the dinner table.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show, the Friday Happier Happy Hour. We're always happiest when you join us at 844-967-2789. Going back to the phones momentarily. But Dom, I think we've finally got a place to cast blame. Or at least over on Fox News they do. Harris Faulkner, one of their personalities on the Foxy News, today kind of crystallized it for the American people. We should blame Hillary Clinton, of course. Let me clarify. Here's the statement.
Do.
First of all, I want to go back to Hillary Clinton for just a second. And I normally don't blame one person for an entire movement, nor do I give them total credit either. But she was a specific case of bringing hate to a new level in this country. A new level of hate, Dom. Faulkner partially praised President Bill Clinton while not mentioning him by name or title, but said he did bring the country together during a time of economic hardship. Well, and he balanced the budget and, helped erase part of the national deficit. But I read on. Her husband was the one in the dynamically similar straits that we are today economically who said, I feel your pain to every single American. He was able to do something that really we haven't seen anybody do since, and that's bring the entire country together. Maybe for just that moment, Faulkner said, adding, and Lord knows he had his issues, right? But with her, it particularly was damaging for her to express her hate for half the country. Half the country, right?
You're talking about the deplorable comment?
I think Faulkner was. After having been in the White House for 8 years, when it wasn't specifically like that, she added, presumably referring to Clinton's remark suggesting half of the Trump voters are deplorables, Faulkner mischaracterized and misstated Clinton's remarks from the highly contentious 2016 campaign. So for the sake of fact-based reporting here, is what the former U.S. Senator and, well, you heard the statement. And once upon a time, we called upon our audience. I said, if you're going to vote for Donald Trump, you are deplorable. And tell me I'm wrong. Explain it to me at 844-967-2789. Had a different number then, but you get the point. And I would say if you still support Donald Trump, you are deplorable. And I haven't changed my opinion that much. And I don't know how, Hillary Clinton created the hate? Well, why'd the hate continue? Hillary's lost in the woods somewhere, right? So why is the hate continued?
Because, of course, there's hatred, and people like Donald Trump, they rev him up for whatever motivations that they have. In this particular case right now is to cling to power. That can certainly be a huge motivator. And I listen, generally speaking, I don't like to hear politicians talking in those kinds of terms. But as we have now witnessed, as we have now seen, the deplorable attempt to overthrow the government, to toss out the will of the American people in a free and fair election, we still have local Republicans here in the state of Wisconsin, across the country, that are right now still wanting to decertify, still saying this was not free, it was not transparent, that this was somehow a coup against Trump, and that's where we are at. And I gotta tell you, based on what I've seen, based on the evidence that has been presented, based on what I've heard, Republicans who are not deplorable, who other megas probably think are, for telling the truth, telling their truth, swearing an oath to speak the truth, to come forward at a great risk to themselves, professionally, personally, physically, to tell the truth, to see what they have, to respond and articulate for the record what they have themselves seen and why they resigned and why they did the things that they decided to do. These are Republicans. And those that would ignore them and think, yes, this is great. Janelle Branchen, you are deplorable. You are deplorable. Robin Voss, to continue on this charade with Michael Gableman, that is deplorable. So while I'm generally down, man, I love the love, but come on, people. You got to call them how you see them. And if I call you out for being that, you can tell me I'm wrong, but I'm not the one spreading hate. That activity and how you're engaging your constituents and the lies that you tell for whatever reason you decide to tell them, that is deplorable. And I don't apologize for that. And I'm not the one spreading hate. I'm just telling you how it is.
Well, your acknowledgement of their deplorable behaviors makes you a hateful individual.
Is that what it is?
Something
I'll take
like
it then.
Now, let me ask you, Dom. What basket do you think that CJ falls in, for example? Is he a deplorable? Would you cast him amongst the deplorables? Because I would.
Yeah, he's certainly getting there.
How about Big Ugly trolling us last night?
Again, I look at particular situations, and those two, I've had off the radio conversations, more so than you have had with probably both of these guys. Maybe not Big Ugly, but certainly with CJ that night. So I give a little room. I give him a little more room. But at some point you got to come around, and if you're just going to spout this out there, and I can't even believe that we still have elected representatives right now promoting some sort of decertification process that doesn't even allow it. It's unconstitutional. There's no way to do it. And let alone that, you have zero proof. And what you state in your press releases about outside money, that was adjudicated. The court said, yes, that's fine. Right? The drop boxes at the time were promoted by Robin Vos and the Republicans. And it happened 4 years before this election. That was fine. Indefinitely confined, while certainly perhaps a murky position, those that are indefinitely confined, quote unquote, can get their ballots. That was all also there. We had a pandemic. More people claimed and indefinitely confined and voted that way. There's very practical explanations as to how and why and what and where we are. But to put out a press release and phrase it like that, to promote it like that, I believe truly it is deplorable.
Okay, so here's another example. What if you just say, maybe we should decertify? Or, you talked about the rigged election without actually coming out there. And there are so many Republicans, Dom, they fear the base. They fear their own base. And if they're not sufficiently great, no, absolutely.
I know. I agree. I mean, we saw this, man. We see Hawley hauling ass, man. We've seen this.
Well, it's not only that, though. They somehow self-rationalize. They say, well, if it's not me, if I don't say, well, maybe it was rigged, well, then you're going to get a real Yahoo. If it's not Tim Michaels, it's going to be a guy like Rantham. So they rationalize, well, I gotta fake it on the fringes. I gotta, be rigged adjacent, because if I don't play the game, if I don't put myself out there in this way that's acceptable to the base, because that's a game Robin Vos is cynically playing every day. How can I split the incentive? How can I walk this high wire between the yahoos that we need to show up, because that's the only way we can get reelected. That's the only way we being Republicans win elections, is to stir up the base, engage them with emotion, and in this case, emotion predicated on a lie. It's not enough to say, hey, man, we're going to go out there and we're going to fight like hell because we hate the policies of Joe Biden. I get that you don't like Joe Biden. And it would be fair to say, you know what, politically, man, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to crush you this fall. But stop telling me your guy won the last freaking election.
Well, I think the issue that I have with this is we're not talking about whether or not you believe that the sales tax rate should be 5.5 or 6.5%.
Sure.
Or whether
these
or not
are
it should
policy
be
disagreements.
Yeah, right. This goes to the core of the fundamental. And you're playing the games that you're talking about. The trying to have it both ways and splitting and trying to connect to voters based on a certain policy, yada yada yada. That game does not apply. This is not that game. This is an entirely different game. And to play the old game in the new game is extremely dangerous because we saw what happens. Trump can shoot someone on Fifth Avenue, wouldn't lose a single vote. And I'm hoping that he'll still get prosecuted for what he does. And if he did that, he should be prosecuted. Maybe that's a true statement based on what we've seen. But this is not a game. This is not about whether or not we should, build more roads or expand the highway or whatever, have a casino in southern Wisconsin. These are not those conversations. This is, do we want to have a functioning republic? Do we want democracy to work? Do we believe that a vote matters? That's what we're talking about. And if you're going to parse that, if that's, you either believe in our systems or you don't. That's the argument. And they're trying to say, well, we kind of believe in it, but in this way it didn't work out too well for it. With no proof, you lost in court. You got a snake oil salesman as a guy that is your savior that you're hanging on to, and that's the battle. That's the hill you're going to fight and die on. I mean, not only is it such a misrepresentation of the scenario playing the old games, it's such a terrible judgment call.
Well, just because they're trying to play it fascist adjacent.
Right. You can't be fascist adjacent. You're the fascist or you're anti-fascist. And I, like the greatest generation, and I am anti-fascist.
844-967-2789. Let's get to the phones. Our pal Andy from Beaver Dam. How you doing, Andy?
Hey, Andy.
Hey, was I hard of hearing, or did you say that Gableman was trolling you at the Waukesha Fair? Because he lives there, doesn't he?
Oh, I didn't see Gableman. I saw big, ugly Keith Best. Also big and ugly, but not specifically the same former corrupted Supreme Court
No,
Justice
we did not see
Michael
Gableman at the fair.
No, I thought maybe, I knew I must have been hearing things because I thought, if he's got any smarts at all, he shouldn't be.
Well, Keith Best is a disgraced former Capitol staffer, thrice removed, if I recall.
Right, and he would. My only gripe would be, as of millions of other people, when is the weather going to cool down a little bit? Give me a few degrees, but I don't know. It's July, and that's what.
Come on, man! It's July in the Midwest.
You're complaining about summer, Andy?
No, Andy. Come on, man.
Take it all back.
Call me back in February, dude.
Tell
me
no
about
grievances about 88. When it's 48 below, then you can call and complain about the weather.
Thanks, Andy. Love you, man.
967-2789. Our pal, he's got his own show outside the pizza box. Listen right here at noon on Saturdays for Pizza Box. How you doing, Michael?
Hey, Mike.
How bad Trump is?
How bad is he?
I voted for Hillary Clinton.
As did I, and that was one of the most difficult votes of my entire lifetime.
Yeah, it was easy. I just, I bitched about it as I did it, and rightfully so. As it turns out, I kind of thought we were going to lose.
Buddy, you were like the dark spirit over the election night party down at Hawks on 2016. Don't be talking trash. We got a big party down there on August 2nd.
Yeah, I might show up just to keep CJ away because remember what Trump's college teacher said, that professor.
Remind us.
I think he called him the dumbest F that he's ever had in class. I went to school with CJ. Now I'm not saying he was that dumb because we were friends, man, for a long time. But no, you can't. You saw when he came to the party and I talked to him about it, and he basically was hurt because of what he called personal attacks, and I explained to him that he never sticks to what the subject was that we're talking about, and that everything he says is a personal attack on a lot of people that I care about, and a lot of other people feel that way, and I thought that might have sunk in, but no, he's still being with the dad on the 70s show. You're a dumbass, CJ. And, I can't blame it on marijuana because he likes marijuana, or at least he did. I know he likes booze too, but I smoke a lot of marijuana and I'm still okay, right?
Right.
Define
you're more than okay,
Michael.
Pizza Box.
Define okay. Listen to him, his free thought rambling and no calls from CJ Saturdays, noon to 1 o'clock, right here on Devil Radio in the Shaw. 5:40 a.m., of course, the Beast of the East. Come back. We got one more segment of the Devil's Advocates. Perhaps your Friday grievance could be next. 844-967-2789. Light them up.
They did interfere in our elections. It's really clear. There should be no doubt about that.
I don't believe in such talk as this.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
by their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Cardall put out these weird, sad videos interviewing incapacitated elders in their nursing homes that don't have the ability to say, don't use me as your political prop.
If they are what you say they are, then you shouldn't be doing it how you did it.
Yes, it was the kids using the parents as props. Well, my old man hasn't talked since 76. Of course he would have voted for Trump. That's the evidence. Videos. People that can't talk.
It is wrong. It's absolutely wrong.
Check out the entire podcast library at darnwi.com.
Hi there, I'm Kirk Bankstad, and I own the Minocqua Brewing Company, and I also have a super PAC. We make good trouble in the North Woods of Wisconsin. You can support our efforts at the MinocquaBrewingCompany.com and buy our woke gear, like t-shirts, hoodies, and trucker hats. Enter the code RADIO and get 10% off on your next purchase. A portion of all sales support the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC, which is dark money meant for good. That's the MinocquaBrewingCompany.com.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates. So relevant, they have 1 foot in tomorrow.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show, the last segment of the day. What a week it has been. Taking your calls, your grievances at 844-967-2789. Crew, you're going to have to hit the buttons because it's taking me a while here.
Okay, man. I'll hit her button for you. Greg from Madison, welcome.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, guys. Quick question for you. What do you think would have happened if Nancy Pelosi was at the Capitol with Trump using the traitors bill case? What do you think would have happened?
Well, they'd have killed her. And they'd have killed Mike Pence as well. That would have been my prediction, Greg. I mean, Mike Pence was, within 40 feet of the insurrectionist in the building? I don't think they would have, they would have killed him. No other way to put it.
Yeah. For people like PJ not to see that, it just boggles the mind. Just don't understand it.
It is concerning, Greg, because in some regard, it's like, kind of the same attitude, the cavalier attitude that former President Donald Trump had about hanging Mike Pence. Maybe he deserves it.
Yep.
But, you say something like that, and especially in a position of power. I mean, not just talking trash at a bar, man. You're the President of the United States, and you just put out a tweet, telling people that Mike Pence let you down.
He didn't have the courage to do the right thing.
Right? And that's that same kind of thing. And I don't know that, someone given the opportunity, we saw how they were fighting with the cops, right? I mean, but no one like pulled out their rifles, and there were lots of rifles and guns and all sorts. They didn't shoot. And so it didn't escalate to that degree. And maybe it's been a little smack, but I don't know, when you hang a gallows, dude, and you're attacking police officers with spears and all that, you have to assume it's going to go bad.
Any other thoughts, Greg?
Well, what do you think Trump meant when he said stand back and stand by? What do you think he meant?
I think he meant what he said, Greg. That's what I think. Thanks
Get ready for what's coming next is what he meant. What comes next is your phone call at 844-967-2789. I believe Wisco Paul waiting the longest in the wings. Wisco, welcome. What do you got?
Hey, Paulie.
Hey, happy Friday to you too.
We made it.
To Andy's to Andy's point, my grievance would be people that don't believe in climate change. I don't think Andy's one of them. What I want to say about the J6 committee last night, the Congresswoman from Virginia, can't think of her name, Navy veteran, she was totally awesome. and she should have been running it the whole time, of course, along with Liz Cheney. But to your last caller's point, more than Nancy Pelosi would have been killed. They may have been, and Pence, they would have killed. I don't know. I think they were to the point there from what I watched last night. They'd have killed anybody, even Republicans.
Right, yeah. I think that's why I think you have a great point. When you get a crowd riled up like that, Paul, that's the thing about that mob mentality, quote unquote.
Strange that Josh Hawley didn't stick around to find out if they knew him.
Hawley was hauling ass, Paulie.
No, Hawley's a coward. Jesus Christ. But it would have been, when you watch that, I don't know how you can't believe it. It was on tape. And these people, in fact, they showed a part where when Trump told them to back off, they said, our leader told us to back off. And it sounded like they were disappointed in the whole thing. But
they were certainly inspired by the earlier tweet directed at Mike Pence. And when Trump called off the mob left. But Trump waited until after the building was already being secured, Paul. 844-967-2789.
We have some sound here, Evan. We still have Evan with us. Let's do cut number 26. The militia radio chatter that was presented last night at the J6 committee. Now these are the hardcore Trumpers. These are the ones that want to are following Trump's rules. They are the foot soldiers in Trump's civil war, Trump's coup against this country. And so the J6 committee released some of that sound, and one of them is particular disgraceful. But let's hear a little bit here, if you would, please. Cut number 26, please, Evan.
CNN just said that they evacuated all members of Congress into a safety room.
There's no safe place in the United States for any of these motherfuckers.
Again, these are the militia guys. So, the deplorables, let's say. The ones that engage in a coup against this country. If you want to throw out my vote, I think that's pretty deplorable. Let's play number 27, please.
This is what we lived up for. Everything we trained for.
Oh, you're training for it. Excellent. And this one, I think, goes to the core of really what the issues are. Cut number 28.
Trump just tweeted, please support our Capitol Police. They are on our side. Do not harm them.
That's saying a lot by what he didn't say. He didn't say not to do anything to the congressman.
Right?
Yeah,
the
I
reading
heard that
between
one
the lines thing, right? What you say and what you didn't say. And we know it. They knew it. Everybody knew it. And the militia and Trump's coup conspirators, they understood exactly. Every time Trump tweeted something, said something, they knew what he meant.
844-967-2789. Dana from La Crosse, our buddy. How you doing, Dana?
Hey, Dana.
Happy Friday, Devils.
Yeah, you too, man.
Old Josh Hawley, he might not have been recognized. He does kind of look like a Ivy League liberal elite, kind of runs like one, too.
A little light in the loafers that day.
He could have found himself hogtied along with a bunch of them. Hey, I got to tell you, I got no real grievance today, just a bunch of optimism. I'm still really excited about you guys coming here to the west side of the state. I took a drive by, Rudy, and yeah, that's a great location. You'll have a great view of 3rd Street there out them windows. It was that
I can't talk about Fight Club, Dana. I can't talk about Fight Club right now.
Well, one thing I'm really looking forward to is you making Mike Hayes your Dan O'Donnell of the west side of the state.
I don't know what that means. I've never had to, beat Dan O'Donnell or anything of the sort, but I've considered it. 844. I did offer to box him for charity one time. He didn't take me up. I think he's afraid of me. 844-967-2789. CJ from Beaver Dam, the other CJ, the better CJ. Welcome, CJ. What do you got for us?
Hey, fellas. Happy Friday. I just want to know, when did Pizza Box get his PhD in psychology and stand there in front of a mirror saying, do I sound all right?
I think that's a mistaken identity, CJ. You're the good CJ. You're not the bad CJ.
Psychological issue in front of a mirror. But my other grievance is Andy from Beaver Dam. Mark Bourne has not been on my ballot. I've already voted because I'm one of them bastards that votes early. And I put Andy from Beaver Dam as a write-in for the 39th district of Dodge County.
He's in it to win it now.
I should say.
CJ,
we got to get Mark Bourne out of there because I don't. I'd rather pay Andy from Beaver Dam $40 an hour to go sit on his duff than Mark Bourne get any more lobster and steaks shoved down his gullet.
Well, Mark Bourne is the co-chair of the Joint Finance Committee, which is way too much responsibility for a hack Republican, from Dodge County. No offense to Dodge County, that ain't the problem. Stick around. Native Roots Radio and Friday Night Live in the Shaw.
Hi, this is Brad from Zero Res. If you need someone to help with your carpet cleaning, business or residence, please give us a call. We have the best system available and an amazing team of friendly technicians. Call us at 848-9000 or schedule online at zeroresmadison.com.
Darcy Haber, I hear you have solar panels on your office building. Since when are real estate brokers so concerned about the environment?
Drew, you should know that at Solidarity Realty, we provide outstanding real estate service while adhering to our core progressive values. Environmental sustainability is a big part of that.
So you really walk your talk, huh?
Yeah, I even walk to work.
Come on, always?
Well, sometimes I bike, and if I have an appointment across town, I use my solar panels to charge my plug-in.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, and they're honest. Check them out at solidarityrealty.com.
Listen to the Empowered Caregiver Show each Saturday and Sunday morning at 9 a.m. with hosts Liza Hellenbrand and Kristen Voss.
Right here on Devil Radio 92.7, WTTN 1580 AM, and the Devil Radio app.
You are listening to WTTN 1580 AM Columbus, W224 EG Madison. Always streaming on the Devil Radio app.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputer.edu.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need. Indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign, and we handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
Hi, this is Robert Pilot.
How do you
1,
use
2,
Owen
test
FM?
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Spring
Cleaning
540
tips to
AM.
help keep you
Waukesha's
safe.
own
When a
rock
natural
and roll
gas
station.
appliance malfunctions, it can produce.
Die. All right. Rocker.
Whoa.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, hey, you there?
Yep.
All right, where are we at, man?
We have like 2.5 minutes until we're on.
2.5 minutes? Kind of
yeah.
hard to hear you down here.
2.5 minutes. Are we? Is there like a specific song you want me to play, or do you just want me to play whatever?
Yeah, I mean, you're just going to have to play whatever. You're going to have to play probably some songs. We're getting close to starting here, and if you want, why don't you play a song?
Yeah.
And then text me, so we have some time, and I'll get on the headphones, and then once you're done back announcing, then just say, hey, let's go down and check in with Rocker, and we'll do just kind of a quick check-in. I'll do like hey, this is, the Friday Night Live. And then we'll go back to play a song, and then I'll try and get the dude so we can maybe do a quick interview.
Mm-hmm.
And then by around then, it'll be closer to 6:30, and we'll just play songs in between. We're just going to have to wing it, I think.
Okay.
Rocker, can you hear me?
I can hear you. There's Johnny Watermelon.
Okay. Connor, hey, how you doing, Connor?
I'm doing all right.
I hear your buddy Hannah's stopping over, huh?
Yep. Should be.
Okay.
Once we
I'll
get
keep an eye out for her.
Yep. Good. Let's do it.
Okay, man. So I think we got a good sound check here.
Test 1, 2. All right. Well, he's going to play a song first.
Okay. Well, we should be good, huh?
I think so.
For the
Is
Shaw,
it like
101
building the
FM,
747 and
WAUK
flying it
540 AM. I'm
at the
Luke
same
Manners
time?
with your headlines. The Shaw 101 FM will have live gavel-to-gavel
See, we're
coverage of
really
the US
getting
House
bad at
Select Committee
internet.
on January 6th public hearing this evening beginning at 7 p.m. According to a new report from the Wisconsin Policy Forum, job recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic in
Oh, you know what? It
has
might
been
be this
quick,
thing,
but
yeah.
uneven across different sectors of the economy. The report shows that 6 industries have suffered the worst, including the food and beverage industry, clothing stores, and statewide amusements. Wisconsin's unemployment rate hit historic lows earlier this year and has been hovering at or below 3% for much of 2022. On Wednesday, the Menominee Tribe announced a partnership with Hard Rock International in the organization's latest attempt to open a casino and resort complex in Kenosha. The Village of Bristol on Tuesday agreed to sell 60 acres of land to Hard Rock for $15 million. You're listening to the Shaw 101 FM WAUK 540 AM.
Well, I sure hope it works.
Yeah, me too.
So last night,
Radio 540 AM and 101 FM is produced right in the Shaw in beautiful downtown Waukesha, Wisconsin. Coming to you live from Guitar Town in beautiful downtown Waukesha and broadcasting live on WAUK 540 AM and 101 FM The Shaw, this is Friday Night Live.
Let's do it while we can. Let's do it on the dance floor. Let's do it while we dance. No need to hit a room. Let's make love on the dance floor. Show me your dance originality. Now's the time for dance originality. Show me your dance originality. Now's the time for dance originality.
Thanks for tuning in to 101.1 FM, 540 AM, WAUK, Walk Radio. This is Connor here at the station for Friday Night Live, broadcasting from 6 to 9 p.m. I'm at the station. Rocker is on the grounds. He's setting up for some bands. For the first hour, just going to play some music, play some tracks by some local Wisconsin and Greater Milwaukee artists. That was VO5 with Dance Originality. They're a really good funk soul band. They have some shows coming up. They played at Summerfest this past year, so if you guys went, checked them out, let us know what you thought about them. You can call in at any time. I'm going to play another track. The next track I'm going to play is by Fat Function, and they're another Wisconsin act. I hope you guys enjoy. This is Fat Function with Miss Madison.
I know to Chicago, Miss Maddie starts calling me. She don't even ask if I miss her. With open arms, she'll always be. Meet me at the bar on State Street. We'll talk about the funky scene. The people everywhere, breathing in the air, dancing like they just don't care. No, no. Key and hold for ignition, then the rubber's gonna hit the road. I'm tired and I don't have a penny, but that's okay cause I'm heading home. Dreaming of a night on the terrace, the moon's gonna light the stage. The joker's in the main, joker's got it made. I wanna play the Beach Street game, no, no. Down south to Miami, I wandered over to LA. I look up in the sky and I'm dreaming of Miss Maddie so far away. Now how you gonna dance with no music? You can't sing if there ain't a song. I call her on the phone, says she's all alone. The function's on the way back home. No, no. My one Miss Maddie. Miss Madison, ba ba boo ba bow, ba ba boo ba bow, ba ba boo ba bow, 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 bow.
that was Miss Madison by Fat Function, another local band that played at Summer Fest this past year. If you're just tuning in right now, this is WAUK's broadcast of Friday Night Live. We do this every single week from 6 to 9 p.m. Rocker is down. Sure you guys know Rocker. He's here every single week, spinning tunes, announcing all the bands. We don't have a band set up for you guys tonight, but it's just starting. So if you want to come down, there's local bands setting up all across Main Street, so you can catch them yourself. We may, and I'll sure let you know that. The next song we're gonna play here is by Magic Conch, "Booty on My Mind." It's a great song. I've played them a number of times, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. This is Magic Conch with "Booty on My Mind."
Girl, powerful swing. I got your booty on my mind.
Boosted Boogaloo continues with another summer rager at Hawk's Bar and Grill on State Street. Hawk's original neighborhood bar is now celebrating 20 years in business. Tuesday, August 2nd, join the Devil's Advocates for a live broadcast and party to follow at Hawk's, 425 State Street. Feel the love, meet the guest, and party with the Devil's Advocates and all the friends of the Devils. Boosted Boogaloo, Summer of Love 2.0, party at Hawk's, Tuesday, August 2nd. Be there.
If you think you need a home inspection, you probably do. Hi, I'm Todd Osborne of Orion Inspections. And buyers, sellers, and even flippers, I'm talking to you. Knowledge is power when it comes to real estate transactions. You'll get an image-packed, searchable, digital, printable report of the condition of the house, things to keep an eye on, any safety issues or defects, and the knowledge to make smart, informed decisions. Your instinct is telling you to get an inspection, and instincts are usually right. Learn more or schedule today at orioninspections.com.
Announcing Friday Night Live, broadcasting live from Waukesha and only on the Shaw 540 AM and 101 FM. Live music every Friday night beginning at 6 p.m., broadcasting from the 5 Points in downtown Waukesha. Friday Night Live broadcasting begins June 3rd at 6 p.m. and will play out all summer long. A special guest host each Friday night. Tune in for the music and variety or come downtown to the 5 Points and join the party. Friday Night Live only on the Shaw.
Hey, Susan, how you doing?
I'm good, Earl. Again, I want to thank you for a wonderful show. The interesting thing is that you're now starting to give people in that part of Wisconsin some food for thought. Having him call in was wonderful. I think we all have to really work hard together to bring a lot more people in the fold.
I'm glad that gentleman called. And it's not that I'm so arrogant that I think I know everything. There's too much in the world to know and think more of myself than I should.
Here on the Shaw 101 FM and WAUK 540 AM.